What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best Heartseeker Rogue build in Diablo 4 new season. This build has a quick and fast gameplay that does well in both single target and AoV DPS. Thanks to many different stacking buffs, you'll be firing off the Heartseekers almost 24/7, and the damage will become insane once your multipliers will start to stack up. The Heartseeker build really starts getting good when you find the Shard of the Varatial, which is a heavy damage buff and a way to cleverly use the preparation specialization to take the setup even further. With the shard in the place, the Heartseeker is not just a basic skill anymore, but it becomes a true engine of the damage that scales incredibly well into the endgame content. We'll also use preparation for the damage reduction and to cast our ultimate skill often by giving us a full uptime on a massive legendary node multiplier, which is called No Witnesses. This node essentially makes you feel like you have a rhythm, where your bursts of damage are always ready to go and downtime is almost non-existent. We'll start most engagements with nearly off-screen kills in the open world before they can even see you. We'll also use Shadow Clone to proc No Witnesses legendary nodes and deal even more damage overall. And on top of it, we got smoke grenades to disable elites and give us an even bigger multiplier. And remember, if you wanna check this build, look up the best items, the skill trees and path of building, then check my link in the description. And before we continue, thanks to U4GM, they are a pro website that provides Diablo 4 services like cheap gold with fast delivery and pro carry runs, as well as unique and legendary items. They also have more than 17,000 comments on Trustpilot, and this website is really worth a try. So make sure to use my discount code KATE for extra 6% off. So let's start with the core skills. The Heartseeker is our damage dealing skill of a choice that also procs preparation. What makes it so strong in this patch is how cleanly it scales with a critical strike and one-ball damage. Even though it starts as a basic attack, don't underestimate it, because stacked with all the modifiers from your gear, runes and the perks, you will be doing incredible amount of DPS. Then Shadow Clone procs No Witnesses legendary node. This time it also does real damage and it's actually useful. Unlike past seasons where it was mostly seen as a gimmick, the Shadow Clone now here works as both an offensive and utility powerhouse. You are essentially doubling your Heartseeker's DPS for a short duration, and thanks to the preparation reducing its cooldown, you get to use it 24/7. Then Dark Shroud is taken for defense and mobility. With the amount of ranged fighting you'll be doing, enemies will sometimes find ways to close the gap, and that's why we have the Dark Shroud to act as a safety net, carrying incoming damage and giving you a moment to reposition if the things get hectic. It also synergizes with the Chaos perks later, which makes it even more efficient. Then Caltrops is primarily for the tougher targets that will take a bit longer to kill. This skill provides a massive buff while the enemies are inside for the long period of time. Then Dash will give you incredible mobility to fly across the battlefield, and it is an easy way to get out of a tough situation. And then finally Smoke Grenade gives us a quite a bit of utility for more damage to disable enemies so that they cannot attack. It's basically a free crowd control, and in the current season where the multipliers will stack to insane levels, it works super clean and disables enemies in a second. Then next we also got Specialization, and we want to go with the preparation. This is meant to spend as a resource to reduce your ultimate cooldown and gain the 15% damage reduction. For the Heartseeker, this requires the Shard of the Varatial for it to spend energy to make use of the specialization. Overall, preparation used to be a clunky specialization for most builds, but here it is specifically made for the Heartseeker. The shard transforms your energy usage into the fuel for more Shadow Clone uptime, which then feeds directly into the No Witnesses node. And on top of that, the damage reduction passive will mean that you are safer even as a glass cannon setup. Next up we have gear, and first of all, make sure that you are using Elixir of Resourcefulness 2 to scale our energy to maximize the new adaptability reworked aspect, since this build leans so heavily on resource efficiency, so Elixir is an easy way to squeeze out more uptime on the Heartseeker spam and even your ultimate rotation. Then Shroud of the False Dead is a nice filler if you can find it, and don't have the Hair of the Parodian to go along with your 4 Chaos Uniques. Or perhaps if you simply want a bit more health and defenses. It doesn't push damage numbers the way that other pieces do, but it's fantastic for giving you room to survive. Then Tirelli Smite is optional. It makes much easier to hit your armor and resistant caps, even in very high torment difficulties. This allows you to min-max the setup further, for example by removing Paragon nodes and investing into the more damage. If you want to truly push the build ceiling, then the Tyrell Smite will give you the best breathing room. Then Hair of the Perdition will provide good critical strike chance and some much needed movement speed with a chunky multiplier. This is the only mythic that you should have on the armor side, and it's honestly the core to this build's identity. The crit chance is essential for proccing the Victimize consistently, and the movement speed will tie beautifully into the rogue's natural agility. Then Ring of the Starless Skies makes for easier energy management while providing a quite bit of attack speed and a good multiplier. The energy efficiency here can be overstated. It's one of the few ways to make the Heartseeker feel like an actual spammable machine gun instead of just a filler skill. Then for runes, you can have up to 2 rune wards in your setup, each consisting of 1 ritual and 1 invocation rune, so socket them in a 2-handed weapon if your build calls for them, otherwise you want to place them in your armor pieces to replace normal gems. And for this rogue build, we will focus on the best in slot, so Aksu plus Zac will give us a nice bump of damage, and Sir plus the Check will spawn wolves that proc Wanable, freeze and mark targets for Pengorger's gauntlets. These wolves will add an unexpected layer of crowd control and the damage synergy. Then next up we have the Chaos perks. The best base Chaos perks are Mirrored Guard, Unpredictable Alchemy and Accelerating Chaos. Together, they create a loop of survival, cooldown reduction, and extra damage to the impound skills. And then finally, we got one unique Chaos perk, and we want to go with the Beast Cornered, that grants damage and damage reduction for having less life. This synergizes beautifully with the Mirror Guard, and turns dangerous situations into the moments where the damage spikes by rewarding aggressive play, even though you're on low HP. And then for our gem setup, for weapons we got Runes and the Topaz, then for armor we got Emerald, on Amulet we got Diamond, and for rings we got the Skull. It's a very straightforward build, designed to give you crit scaling, toughness and resource support without overcomplicating the setup. Then next we have our skill tree. For this season, we're back using the Victimize as the key passive of choice with its new rework. The first big investment will go into the Heartseeker itself, along with its enhancements to guarantee consistent crits and the oneable procs. These nodes are essential because they convert your basic damage into something that can trigger Victimize explosions and scale with all of your multipliers. From there we go into the survivability and control. The Dark Shroud will receive multiple upgrades to increase both its uptime and the damage reduction it provides, ensuring that you can stay in the fight longer. Then Dash is upgraded as well, not only for the raw mobility, but also for repositioning, to keep enemies grouped up in the caltrops or the smoke grenade zones. These two skills get their upgrades because they extend the control of duration and boosting the multipliers that they provide against enemies that are stuck inside. Then Shadow Clone and its enhancements will come next, by turning what once was just a flashy ultimate into a core part of this build. Fully upgraded, it synergizes with no witnesses to double your Heartseeker's pressure, and locking in the range burst style that defines this build. Then next up we have the Paragon board. At level 15, the first unlock should emphasize consistency and control over the battlefield. The control node boosts damage against crowd control and the enemies, by synergizing perfectly with the tools like the smoke grenade and the caltrops that keep enemies slowed and oneable. Then Headhunter provides a straightforward damage increase, making it easier to bring down priority targets quickly. Then Devious will add a layer of resource efficiency, ensuring that your energy stays stable during extended fights, while Kenny improves your critical strike effectiveness, synergizing beautifully with the build's heavy reliance on the crit-based procs. And then finally, Fluidity will enhance movement and responsiveness by reinforcing the rogue's hit and run playstyle. By level 46, the same progress of nodes, so Control, Headhunter, Devious, Kenny and Fluidity will come back into play, by doubling down on the build's strengths. This repetition is not wasted, it ensures stronger scaling of the core bonuses. Enemies that are crowd control will take even more punishment, crits will hit harder and your energy economy will become smoother, allowing for the Heartseeker spam with the minimal downtime. Then next, let's talk about the Mercenaries. For the hired one, the best choice is the Raher. He gives you an excellent frontline pressure and defensive bonuses. And then for reinforcement, pick Varianna. Her knockdown procs the second portion of the Malice and creates an opening where your Heartseeker spam can shine. Together, these two Mercenaries will add a layer of survivability and utility without stealing the spotlight from your own damage. And now finally, let's see how to actually play this build. We want to start fights by using the dash to get around the map really fast. Oftentimes, you'll want to engage with this first to start things off, then use smoke grenade whenever you see an elite grouped up enemies to disable them. This also gives you a nice multiplier which allows you to burst them down quickly. Then caltrops can be saved for the tougher mobs, as it's not needed in every fight, so place them well to keep enemies inside as long as possible. Then use Shadow Clone to proc no witnesses, unstoppable and summon, that will nearly double your DPS, and you should use it as often as possible as it should be up 100% of the time. And of course, as you can tell, the Heartseeker is the main skill. You can start most engagements with just spamming this when dealing with the trash mobs, but for the maximum output you wanna follow my previous rotation. So just make sure to keep up the Dark Shroud at all times for maximum defenses and mobility. You can cast this whenever it's off cooldown for efficiency. But overall, if you're looking for the best rogue build in Diablo 4, then the Heartseeker is for you.